Welcome to another startup and complete car documentation. What we're looking at today is a 2017 Chevrolet Traverse Premier.
This Traverse is painted in blue velvet metallic.
You do have chrome door handles. Front door panels have storage areas. It does have a premium Bose sound system. As you'd expect, of course, power windows, locks, and mirrors. And being the top of the line Premier, you have fully powered front seats, driver and passenger, and two-person memory settings for the driver.
The top-of-the-line Premier trim comes with perforated leather seats as standard, and Chevy calls this interior color scheme Saddle Up.
Now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine. On the key fob, you have the buttons for remote start, lock, unlock, power tailgate release, and panic.
The Traverse is Chevy's entry in the popular midsize three-row crossover segment, competing with rivals like the Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot. The Traverse made its debut for the 2009 model year, and as of the 2023 model year is still currently in its second generation. When it was launched, the Traverse sort of served as the successor to the Chevy Uplander minivan, which makes sense with crossovers and SUVs having replaced minivans as the first go-to choice for large families. Throughout its run, the Traverse has also shared its platform with a few other General Motors three-row crossovers that were introduced around the same timeframe in the late 2000s, most notably the GMC Acadia and Buick Enclave. This 2017 model we have here represents the Traverse's first generation, which was produced from model years 2009 through 2017. The first-gen Traverse was built on the General Motors Lambda platform. Also riding on this architecture were the first generation, or 2007 to 2017, GMC Acadia, the first generation, or 2008 to 2017, Buick Enclave, and the Saturn Outlook, which was only made from 2007 to 2010 before Saturn as a whole was folded. It is worth noting, though, that these Lambda SUVs, while mechanically the same, weren't straight-up rebadges of each other. They all feature unique styling inside and out to distinguish them. In the Traverse's case, it got a touch of muscular, almost Camaro-esque body lines, at least with this first generation. For the 2013 model year, the Traverse, Acadia, and Enclave trio all got mid-cycle refreshes, which gave them some pretty heavily facelifted cosmetic looks, plus some new features and updated tech. That of course makes this 2017 Traverse a facelift model, and also the last year for the model's first generation. The GM three-row crossover trio would then all enter second generations on the all-new C1XX platform. Anyhow, back to this Traverse. The 2017 model year Chevy Traverse was offered in 5 trim levels, those being LS Base, LS, 1LT, 2LT, and the range-topping Premier like this one. There's only one engine and transmission combo across the entire range, a 3.6-liter V6 with 281 horses paired to a 6-speed automatic, although the engine actually makes a bit more power in the Premier trim with those dual exhaust outlets. You could choose between front-wheel drive like this one or all-wheel drive. In Chevy's US 2017 crossover lineup, the midsize 3-row Traverse is the largest, slotting above the midsize 2-row Equinox.
Starting with the instrument cluster, you have 5 analog gauges: tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and voltage gauge. And then there is a digital info display, which can be gone through via this button for odometer and trip computers. And then all the rest you can go through via these buttons on the infotainment system. Just some of the stuff you have in there. It has a 4-spoke design, leather-wrapped, multifunctional steering wheel. As for controls, on this side you have your cruise control, along with the toggle button for your heated steering wheel. And then on this side are all your audio and hands-free phone controls. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic. The vehicle's parking brake is foot operated. Your main headlight switch. Air vent for the driver. Right here is your high beam, turn signal, and wiper stalk. Going down the center of the interior, you have a storage compartment up top, air vents in the center, wood grain trim. Right here is your MyLink infotainment system with a touchscreen interface. Also have a CD player, and then some physical controls, volume power knob, tuning knob, and then these are some touch-sensitive shortcut buttons. You have your hazard switch, passenger airbag indicator, got the toggles as well for your lane departure warning and for collision warning. And then here are your information display controls in the gauge cluster. Below that, you have all the controls for your dual zone automatic climate control. You have 3-stage heated and cooled front seats. This is the button for your rear wiper, traction control, and with this button you can raise or lower the power tailgate from here. A little bit of storage, a USB port, and a power outlet. 2 cup holders next to the gear shifter. Putting it in reverse does reveal a backup camera. A little bit of storage behind this cover with a removable tray. Adjustable center console with some storage. The glove box is lockable. Both sun visors have vanity mirrors and lights. Your auto dimming rearview mirror, OnStar. You have your overhead lighting, garage home link, and your power sunroof control. This has a sunroof for the front and then a rear sunroof. And a nice sunshade as well. And finally, we have the MyLink infotainment system. Now playing different sources. We have AM, FM, Sirius XM, and like I said, the CD player. This does have a navigation system. Phone for pairing phone. Local weather and traffic for Sirius XM Travel Link if you have that. All your sound settings. course, this does have a rear seat entertainment system and even a rear zone climate control. But now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window. Both front windows are automatic down and the driver's one is also automatic up. And have a look at the engine bay.
On the Premier trim, you got these 20-inch machine-finished 6-spoke alloy rims. The 2017 Traverse is propelled by a 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V6 engine. It's a dual overhead cam, 24-valve power plant with variable valve timing and direct injection. In the Premier trim, it puts out 288 horsepower at 6,300 RPM and 270 pound-feet of torque at 3,400 RPM. The sole transmission is a 6-speed automatic with a manual mode, which in this Traverse sends that power solely to the front wheels. Running on regular unleaded with a 22-gallon fuel tank, EPA estimates are 15 mpg in the city and 22 mpg on the highway. It has a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. Stopping the Traverse are 4-wheel vented disc brakes. Curb weight can vary from roughly 4,700 to 4,900 pounds depending on equipment. The max towing capacity for the 17 Traverse is 5,200 pounds.
As you saw earlier, the fuel cap is on the driver's side. The rear door panels also have storage areas with bottle holders. Bottle holders on top as well. Captain's chairs for the second row. But first we'll check out the third row. Alright, so we're here in the third row of the Traverse, and on the back interior panels we have cup holders, little storage areas, speakers back here, coat hooks, and our own overhead lighting, and air vents. Now, as for space back here, I'm actually kind of surprised. It's better than I thought it would be. Pretty alright for a third row. I mean, it's not by any means super roomy or spacious or comfortable, but as someone who's about 6'1", I'm actually kind of surprised because I could actually ride back here, and it helps that the captain's chairs are sliding. So, like, this one's further back, but this one, you could slide it up forward, and this is a third row that is actually kind of usable, I think. It's not like some third rows where it's just a complete afterthought and you literally have to be a tiny, tiny little child to fit back there remotely comfortable. I mean, like, feet can go under the seat, And I actually, you know, I could ride back here if I had to and not be all that uncomfortable. So, yeah, actually pretty impressed with this third row. But now we'll move on to the second row. Both front seats have storage pockets on the backs. Captain's chairs also have armrests, individual ones. And rear passengers also get quite the amenities back here. For one, you have this flip-down screen, rear seat entertainment system. Overhead lighting, of course. You even have your own personal sunroof. I don't know if this opens, it might just be a glass roof. But either way, it's really cool. You have your own rear audio controls, your controls, you know, corresponding to the infotainment. You have headphone jacks, I'm not sure what the headsets are. And you also have your own zone of climate control back here. You got a household style power outlet, a regular car power outlet, and also AV ports, and a couple USBs. So, you get a pretty good amount of amenities when you spring for the top of the line Premier trim, even though this is a mainstream Chevrolet model, not a, you know, Buick Enclave or a nicer one. Most cars nowadays, even if you're not, you know, a luxury brand per se, if you get the highest trim level, you get pretty much all the features some people would consider a luxury car to have. You know, heated cooled seats, heated steering wheel, that kind of stuff, memory. And I love this interior color. Anyhow, space back here. As someone who's about, again, 6'1", I did put the driver's seat roughly where I'd have it if I was driving, so it's quite a ways back. You know, leg room is just okay, like this. Headroom is not really a problem, though. And, you know, I could ride back here as pretty good as well. These seats are sliding, and I put this one as far back as it would go, and as you can see, it's not too bad. And, you know, if the person in front of you has their seat even a little bit further forward, it's, you know, even more room than this. It does have dual exhaust, rear wiper, and it does have a power tailgate. And yes, that can clear the wall, it's not going to hit it.
With all the seats up, the Traverse offers 24.4 cubic feet of cargo room. Folding the third row down increases space to 70.3 cubic feet, and finally with the third and second rows folded down, you get an impressive 116.3 cubic feet of cargo space to work with.
Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2017 Chevrolet Traverse. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.